Ayelet Shachar Levy is Naama Levy's mother. Naama has been held by Hamas terrorists for 286 days, almost 9.5 months. Ayelet has been all through this a warrior mother fighting for the release of her daughter. And we really thank you so much for talking to us today, Ayelet.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Yonit and Biana. It's nice to see the both of you in front of
And
me in the pictures. Yeah.
We
it's
talk
very
about
good
you
to
more
see
than
you.
you would even imagine.
We do. We really
Yeah.
do, because I think we are,
This is, yeah.
and many Israelis and many Americans are in awe of your inner strength and your resilience and your ability to hold up this fight for your daughter together with the other families. It really is a remarkable thing to see. I know that you would not for a millisecond think about this at all, this new role that you have in Israeli public life, and you would give it up in a heartbeat just to be 9 months back. But you really are something that I think Israelis look at the strength. And so I think the first thing to ask you is, now that there is more talk about maybe a deal is possible, with all of the defense echelon in Israel saying we should do this now, how optimistic are you from what you're hearing from these people that it can actually happen?
Yeah. I'm optimistic. I'm definitely optimistic because I'm hearing this very loud and clear and not like before. I mean, this is different now. I'm hearing it very clearly that the whole defense of Israel is um, seeing this as all the terms are ready and in place to be able to proceed with the negotiations and to bring this deal to seal the deal. So I am optimistic. I'm very stressed. I cannot say I'm not. I know I'm very stressed, even more than before, because this is the very critical point that we were waiting for, and because it is so close and feasible and possible, um, I'm just so scared that it might not, something might be missed, um, because it has happened before, but I think we're in a different place at this point.
Ayelet, I think the phrase David versus Goliath should be changed to Ayelet versus Goliath, because these past 9 months, I mean, to echo what Yonit said, just the strength, the resilience, the passion, and the love as a mother that you have conveyed for the world to see. You've gone up against not only a terror organization that's been holding your daughter, you've been dealing with a lot of headwinds from around the world of people not wanting to address this and focus on this as a top priority. And you've also been dealing with some of the same concerns domestically, internally in your own country, and really wanting to get on the same page with your own government to prioritize this and make sure they are prioritizing the release of Naama and all of the other 120 hostages that remain there. As I've gotten to know you over these past few months, I know we've become very close, and every few months it does appear that you and the other parents of the 5 IDF female soldiers have agreed painfully to release bit by bit some of the information that you've been made aware of, whether it's the videos of Naama and the girls, the days, hours after October 7th, to new video that was just released this week that was, I am assuming, taken by the IDF, was taken by the IDF when they were in Gaza. They
Yes.
found it from Naama's early days there in captivity, and you see that that swollen eye, that purple eye, really again symbolizing just the hell that these hostages have been enduring. Can you talk to us about the thought process that goes into what I would imagine is such a difficult decision that you and the other families ultimately agree to release these images for the world to see, and I would imagine also put more pressure on the players at hand here too?
Yeah, when I go back to the October 7th, on that day, the video of Naama being kidnapped in Gaza, being, dragged from the Jeep, from the um, backside of the Jeep, and we all know that video, and we saw it on that morning already. I'm thinking of that video that was published by Hamas, and then it was run and rerun over in all the networks and all the social media, and I had no control over that, and it felt like that's my girl. You can't show that all the time. It can't be. We were in shock, of course, at that point, but I'm just, uh, you know, uh, looking back at those moments and thinking of that footage going over and over again, and I'm thinking, this is a private thing. This is my daughter. You can't show that. But so this is my instinct response to publishing things concerning my daughter, our family, myself. I mean, this is so private in one sense, but on the other hand, and we have come to this point where um, we need to decide about how much more exposure we need to put for our girls. And once we received more footage of the what happened in the Nahal Oz that morning, that video that was we allowed to publish, and then now we just now received these frames from the videos taken by Hamas and the probably the first or the beginning of their captivity there. Now we're the ones deciding of what we put for the world to see, and it's agony every time, because still I'm thinking, that's my little girl. Don't show her. Don't expose her to any more of this. And this is the hardest moments to see. But this is part of our struggle and our fight, and it pains me, but we need to keep reminding the world that, what happened on the 7th of October keeps on happening right now. And the girls are there, and the girls are still undergoing this terror attack. It's ongoing. So we have no choice. That's my feeling. I have no choice. I need to keep talking. I need to keep functioning, and I need to keep putting these images in the eyes of all involved, the public, the decision makers, the world, the other actors in this whole situation. So yeah, we're saying, I don't know about my strength. I don't know so much that I'm stronger. I don't feel that. I just, I get up every morning and I tell myself, Naama is still there. What am I doing? What am I going to do today? What's the next thing? How do we get her out? How do I save her? That's all that matters. So I just keep going on that. It's not even strength. I don't know what it is.
Do you know what we can't say everything that you can't say everything that because we're obviously there's information that needs to keep her safe, but do you know the life signs? Can you tell us where she is? Obviously it looks like she's been separated from the other
Yeah.
soldiers.
Yeah, we do know that at that point, the first days, weeks, she was separated. Maybe she was for a few days with another girl and then separated from her. And then for almost 2 months, she was alone with her captors, uh, moving. They moved her from place to place uh, under the attacks and the bombings and all the military operations that were taking place above ground. And then she was entered into the tunnel. And we know this from the hostages that were released at the end of November, because they met with her shortly and they saw her, and she spoke. She told them what she went through until that point. And from then on, the information that we have, of course, is nothing that comes from Hamas. It is all information that we are receiving from our authorities, and it is, as they call it, indirect. In other words, we don't know exactly how they can tell us this, but we had signs of life of Naama since then, several signs of life, and they do believe that they are in the tunnels, and they do believe that that she is alive there. So I cannot really place it to a specific time, because that is not that's our instructions. But yes, that's what we know.
Ayelet, something you've been able to do very effectively is navigating this crisis, this nightmare, by not turning this into a political issue, by not politicizing it. Your focus has been on bringing these hostages, bringing Naama home, and that being the responsibility. Obviously, Hamas, the perpetrators here, the terrorists, yes, that's a given, but that is the responsibility also of the elected government in Israel. And I'm wondering how you can square that with the chain of events we're about to see in the next few days. On the one hand, there's a lot of optimism, perhaps of a deal, more optimism than we've had yet. The prime minister giving a big speech to Congress next week, and an invitation I know that went out to a number of the family members of hostages that remain in Gaza. And I know you chose not to accept that invitation. Noah Agamani, I think, is going with the prime minister. Just walk us through how you're able to thread that needle of making your point, but not making it a political one.
Well, I think it goes back to my focus, because this is very clear to me what the focus should be. The focus should be saving Naama and all the girls and all the hostages, and bringing them home by negotiations and closing a deal which will also secure the security of the region. So having that in mind in every second, my Naama is in my mind every second. Everything else is lines up to that. So if this is the focus, and we are not at the point of the closure yet, we are very close. These are critical days. Then all the focus and all of the actions and everything we're doing should be focused on mobilizing that. So for me, my answer, and of course I was, as I told our Prime Minister's representative, I'm honored to be asked, and I appreciate it, but I cannot do anything else until I see this is going in the direction of an agreement. And I think that our prime ministers and our government's focus should be on that just the same. So that's my thoughts about that. And I'm not sure it's threading the needle completely, but it is, in my mind, just saying, this is what I expect. I expect our prime minister's full commitment to this process, to mobilizing this agreement, to doing whatever he can. This is my daughter. This could have been his daughter. This could have been anyone's daughter. These are all our children, and this is the top priority. This is the first and foremost thing that should be done. So all other things should not distract us, should not distract the government from this focus. And this involves more. As I said, it involves more than returning of the hostages, which is, of course, the most urgent thing, because their lives are in danger every second. But it involves more, and you two can say more about that. I don't know how to explain it, but it involves, a solution for the whole situation, for the region.
It's because that is what many think, that this will at some point end the war if there is a deal, and then the northern part of Israel and the skirmishes there will also be, toned down. That is what many people think. But when you look at the polls, and you see that 64% of Israelis, this is a poll that Channel 12 published just this Friday, 64% of Israelis say they support the hostage deal. Now, when you analyze that from the political element in it, right, 85% of Netanyahu's opponents support a hostage deal, and 46% of Netanyahu's supporters support it. And there are many from the Israeli right who say, releasing prisoners is giving Hamas exactly what it wants. We release their prisoners and they'll release our hostages, which is a good thing, but it will lead to more, abductions like this, and it will only embolden Hamas, and the war doesn't need to end. I'm sure you meet these people and you try to talk to them. What do you say to them?
Sometimes I say it from my medical point of view, being a physician. This is so clear. This is not just a medical point of view. This is a humanitarian point of view. If someone his life is in danger, if someone is in danger right this moment, you first treat or save or take care of the person who is in danger, who is under attack right now. Right now. Their safety has been taken from them, and they don't have their freedom and safety, and they're in life danger right now for 9.5 months. So this is the first thing you do. Then the next thing, you treat or you tend to any other difficult or dangerous situations that are, I would call it the second circle. If this is the first thing you do, then you do all that is needed to ensure the safety of others. So it's like an urgency thing. What is the most urgent thing to do to save a life right now? That's how I see it, and this is what I say. And I understand it's complicated, it's a complex, and there are different views. But from a Jewish, humanitarian, and even medical ethical point of view, this is how I see it.
Now, Ayelet, we saw so many people and continue to see so many scores of people take to the streets. I remember Naama's birthday in particular, so many in June, so many people were holding photos of Naama. You go on social media and you see her photos, accounts bring Naama home. I'm wondering, how surreal is this for you at this point? And you touched on this earlier, but the fact that you have 2 other small children, you have your medical profession as well, and then you have this chapter of your life, because this will be a chapter that I am just convinced will come to an end, and Naama will be back with you at home. I just tell myself that, and I tell you that all the time, because there is no other option in my view. Naama has to be back with you. But when you compartmentalize what you see playing out on the streets and in everyday life there, focused on the war, and Naama, your professional life, how do you go about approaching that?
Just continuing with the daily routines pretty much, or whatever is needed with the family, with the kids, thinking, it's sometimes very surreal. It's crazy. I go from an interview or from a rally or from, dealing or a meeting, which is highly important. And then I go and pick up the school books for Omri, because he's going up to 7th grade in a new school. So, it's the daily things and, the regular life, it's like they're parallel to all of this. And, switching from side to side or from different things sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy. But I just look at myself and I say, okay, now this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this now, and then I'm doing this, and I'm kind of try to have like an order of things. It's not even a schedule. It's like building blocks. Okay, this block, and then I'll put the next block on. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I just I just freeze. I just stop and I say, I don't know what to do now. So I have people around me, thank God, and a lot of loving people, and that helps. in those moments. But it's really crazy, and everything kind of mixes together. Even my patients that come in, and I work and I'm okay, and it's really I don't even understand it, but I'm focused, I'm concentrated when I see my patients. And a lot of times we will talk about what's going on, and they refer to Naama and they tell me things, and we talk about it, and then we go back to, okay, what brings you in today, and how are you feeling? And so it's back and forth all the time. It's back and forth. And I think if there's one thing that have gotten used to, because none of this I've gotten used to, not even talking to you, because this is really amazing for me. But I've gotten used to the going back and forth all the time, like living in these two worlds all the time, or 3 or 7 worlds, or I don't know.
Well, if I can just say, I mean, I know you don't want to call it strength, but I don't have any other word for it than one of the times that you and I were doing an interview, and it was your daughter's birthday, and you spent the morning with her, taking her shopping at the mall. And then, as we said, compartmentalizing, going into the other mom phase, fighting for your daughter to come home and doing an international television interview. I'm blown away by you. I love spending time with you. I feel like I know Naama. I know her bedroom. I know the stuffed animals on her bed, and we are all just praying for her to come home and all of the other hostages very, very, very soon.
And you should know that the minute Biana came on the podcast, it was clear that you're coming on. So we were
we're together.
Thank you. Exactly. I just feel like this is like like you're both giving me a hug right now, and it's
we are.
We are.
We really are.
Thank you. That's what gives me strength, by the way, like knowing that I think of the two of you, of other good people that are out there, and I'm just like making myself a bouquet of all the good people, and I'm holding on to that and saying, we can do this, we can get through this, and we'll bring Naama back. And yeah.
Amen to that. Ayelet Levy Shachar, thank you so much for talking to us today.